Koswama Pacho Mano and Nani Bibia and Timmy Wayan. Pajin Nanya Sujini Odumu. Adewene so Adam Tino. Amen.
Amen.
So before we're going to start, some few disclaimers, and as Evelyn has said, tell a friend to tell a friend. I think it's very important. The whole week was very important, but I think that this topic is also something we really have to talk about. And tell a friend to come on the line and to join us. So the disclaimers, rules for this conversation, because you want your person in. So the first one is, or the first two are, one person speaks at a time. Zoom no yana edin kakra. And as the same you nipo hoa obi kasa na o ma obi nwia yebetimi amute nipo krono to mesrese yen na nipa ba ko be kasa. And this is not a them versus us. We na nyese mpanimfo no ani enkoda na as youth na ko ye person ye right na we right ye person nyina no adwene ba ko ye fa adwene ba ko na ye ye boa yensafo no. And no one should take any of the advices personal. In some way, Bekano, and also be Bekano, and Fano said, Abia, Masima, Jamaica, everyone wants them. Then the dinner name more, wait, and yes, say a cow be wants them. Don't take it personal. That we should let the youth talk first, which is very important for me in this program, a youth camp meeting. So I would really like the youth to speak first. We've got amazing pastors here and leaders, but we will ask the youth to speak first, and then we will ask them for their opinion as well. And then try to feel empathetic. And Abia or BKB officer, they all can share than yisa. But Abia youth no, they are no femono, and ye bina femana Abia penimunso, they are no femono, and ye bina means me feminine. Let's try to understand each other. And then keep it short, very important. Time is not on our side. And okay, bibia, tiwa wa bonotofa kakrebi, quotes on Kanaki Sana Germany Bacano. It's short, na wa buayan. If you want to add anything, just raise your digital hand. Two persons can be anonymous with digital hand no or page on sign, and try to understand that we have different backgrounds and understanding of things, as I've said before. And then try to speak for yourself. O person can be a youth, nun kasama youth, penny for kasama and penny for a man kasama and my man kasama and mema. Mimin timin kase oba fees say because I'm not a woman, and the other way around. So try to speak for yourself. That would be very great. And then speak in the language you feel most comfortable in. When you say ni probably German or yedia uncles Evelyn Betty Boyan na chin on say yedia you pa more hase or nipa ba more hase Western so how betty and chin on so. I think just speak in the language you feel most comfortable. So German, Dutch, any language. I don't understand Dutch, but someone will help me. Okay, Evelyn.
Yes. So before we start, we want to take notes. So I would actually ask two people, one from the elders and one from the youth, to actually take notes. So Uncle ni papa wo ho because last time we boy pa or Hamburg deno. Uncle yes, Pacho betimi taking notes am I? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And from the youth, we would like Jemima to take notes for us. Jemima, just like how to see you. Get us Kansaman?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Jemima. And I'm seeing a lot of people who have opened their cameras. Thank you so much. Anyone who wants to join us with the camera, feel free to join us while we're speaking. Good. So, screen. I saw screen. Okay, good. Okay, good. So just introducing the topics before we do an interesting poll is we're going to talk about 4 things today. We're going to talk about the youth and the church, and then we're going to talk about the future of the SCA church, and then we're going to talk about youth camp in general, because we are right now doing our youth camp, and then questions and contributions, or if someone wants to add anything else, and then also the pastors will get some time to talk then. So before we go to the first question, Pachapo and I are ready.
Yeah, it's ready.
Yes, okay.
So we will start with a poll, and the question is, so everything you're gonna vote for now is just one poll. It's gonna be no one's gonna know who you are. Mm-hmm. It's anonymous, so no worries. It's anonymous. It's anonymous. No one's going to see who voted, but we're going to see the result. Okay, so the question we're going to start off with is, if you were given the chance to leave your church right now, would you? Says to see a mawa konya set which me free was safumwa. Kabia sad and answer free was safum. So I'm gonna start the pool in a second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, and we're talking about your church, not the SDA faith, your church as it is right now. If you could exchange churches or leave it, would you?
So this is, yeah, as Evelyn said, not about your faith, but the church. Okay. We've got 50% has already voted. 53. Okay, 70%.
Enoch, I can't see the poll.
I'm gonna, you're gonna see the poll in a second.
The poll is the Pastor Patrick. Yes, I do first space.
Damn you.
But I'm gonna project it in a second.
Okay, anyway.
70% still, yeah, train.
Maybe because I'm.
So you've got a poll, you can still vote. No one's gonna see that you voted. We're just gonna see the result of it. I can't see any names, so no worries. Okay, so 30 more seconds. $20 more seconds, no pressure, but time is not on our side. Okay, 10 more seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. So 70% have voted, and I'm going to show you the results. So, give me a second. Resultat freigeben. Okay, so I think now the result is visible for everyone. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, very good. So the question was, if you have the chance to leave your church right now, would you? And 26% said yes. 26%, so 14 people out of 54 said yes. No, 54% said no. So 29 people out of 54 said they would not leave their church. And 12 out of 54 people, so 22%, said they are not sure if they would. Could someone just please write that down? I'm going to take a picture, but I think it would be good if we
are taking the notes will write that down. And even look at the poll. Kann ich was dazu sagen, Enoch?
Yeah.
So, okay. So even looking at the poll, so let's say 50% said that they would not leave. If we even count the people that are not sure, that are maybe willing to turn to no, that we but I would say we'll probably get 50-50 out of that if we take the worst case scenario and put the people that are not sure to the no, to the yes people, we are about the same 50-50. So we have 50 people saying we would go and 50 people saying we would stay. Okay.
Okay. So thank you very much for participating. We're going to continue. So give me 1 second and then we can continue. So, okay. So now the question is, because we are talking about the intergenerational identity of the SDA youth. So now the question for all of us is, what do people think of when they think of the SDA identity? Nti ubusa nipa bi wo abontina na so busa SDA kra no a na SDA kra no mo life no dia, what is SDA? My identity no dia. So what do you guys think? This is a question for all of us. What do you guys think? What comes to mind? I can't see. Okay, Enoch, you can start.
I think when it comes to the SDA identity, for as long as I know, people refer to us to the people that don't wear jewelry, that don't eat pork, and especially nowadays, the people that are the most judgmental people out there of all the Christian denominations. So to keep it short. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Enoch. So Enoch said 3 things. One being we don't wear jewelry, so no accessories. The second one, I think we don't eat pork. And the third one being that we are currently the most judgmental Christian group, if we take all of them. Okay, thank you very much. Next one, I think Erodia and then Abigail.
And before they talk, oh, sorry, you can also write in the chat if you don't want to unmute yourself, just write in the chat and put some things down.
Yeah. Okay, everyone can see the chat. Tiana, what's your mommy?
Liti.
Okay, I have 3 points also. I have strict, uptight, and not open to communicate or be open for different things.
So strict, uptight, and not open for new things. So if you put them all together, is a bit narrow-minded. Let her put it in. If you put it in one word. Okay, thank you very much, Abigail.
Letitia hat meins schon gesagt.
Okay, Latricia has already said it. Thank you. So maybe if you bring a point next time, just 1 point would be great. Someone else? What do you think of when you think of the SDA identity? Positive things, negative things, neutral things?
Oh, yeah.
What makes us different? What is special about us? Abigail.
I would say a lot of people like our music. Yeah, that we have a lot of fantastic musicians. And
So the music, we've got a lot of talented musicians. Yeah, thank you very much. Something else? As Evelyn has said, you can also use the chat. This is a conversation for us youth. Let's use this. Let's use this chance.
Yeah, then someone wrote me privately that we're only allowed to wear dresses to church. So that goes probably for the girls, that we don't wear trousers to church, that we only wear dresses. And then someone also put in the chat that Sabbath keeping, that we keep the Sabbath very strictly, but probably someone said not open to criticism. Not open to criticism. Yes,
okay.
That was
so Sabbath keeping, we have to wear dresses, and then we are not open for new ideas, I guess.
Yeah, on criticism, yeah.
And criticism. Okay, thank you. Prince.
Yeah, could be a comedian or his CIT, and why
Okay,
so maybe a last one.
Someone also wrote in the chat that we are, I don't know the English word, sector. No, English.
Google.
English word is still a sect.
Oh, it's English.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, someone said that. Someone said that we don't wear earrings. Someone said that we preach, but we don't practice what we preach. I saw awkward. I don't know if that was sector culture. Yeah, but yeah. So that's what the people have said.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we're going to continue because we've got a lot of questions and we want to keep the time. So Evan and I thought about during this week, and we brought up 1 or 2 things, and I think most of them you've already talked about them. So Evan, we're going to start. We've got pictures, and then we're going to say 1 or 2 things about it. I think if you agree, you can just put in a yes in the chat. If you don't agree, you can you can add that later if you don't agree with it. Okay, so one is, we know this is our sign, this is the identity when people think about the SD Church. Because this is our logo, our sign. Okay, Evelyn.
Then we have the Sabbath School. I think one thing that SDA people are very known for is that we do the Sabbath School and we take it very seriously, our Sabbath School groups.
Next one being the Holy Bible. We are the Bible church, some people call us, because we are very focused on the Bible. There's nothing, any Bible. We always focus on the Bible.
Then, as many of you guys said, we don't wear earrings. We're known that we don't wear earrings.
Yeah. Next being the scared part. So people know us for wearing long, covering skirts.
Interesting. I'm saying that's a song.
Okay, then of course we're also known for Ellen G. White. That a few people would say we even worship her more than we worship other people of the Bible, but we are definitely known for Ellen G. White and her writings.
Yeah, and then also the time. Nipa bebre kasa esti for your chat. our services are very long. So from Sabbath school to divine service and then practice and afternoon service. Sometimes I go to church I start 9 o'clock in the morning and then I'm at home at around 8, sometimes even 9. So we take quite long at church.
And then for singing, I think someone said that too, that we're known that for singing and for our choirs, that they're pretty good.
Yeah, and then for camp meetings as well. I know some churches do have camp meetings, but I think our camp meetings are very significant.
Mm-hmm. And then for potlucks, I don't know if we still do that, but for potlucks, that SDO4 the yakwa we do.
Okay, so now we're going to continue. Evelyn.
Yes, so the first question is, because we're talking about intergenerational, the first question is, what is the difference between us and our parents' generation? We're focusing on the church. What is the difference between us and our parents' generation? If you want to raise your hand, if you want to write it in the chat, or write me privately, you can do that. Or write Enoch, also Enoch don't who chat to know, but yeah, write us privately, you can do that. And then let's get started. The question is, what is the obviously mentality? Maybe you can say a little bit more to that. So while she's saying a bit more to that, I think we can take the people that have raised their hands first, and then I'm gonna come back to the chat people, yeah? So Jenny and Vic can start.
Also die Erwachsenen, der Unterschied ist halt, dass die Erwachsenen immer noch in der, sagen wir mal, älteren Generation sind und nicht die neue Generation erkennen.
Yeah, so they both said that one big difference is that the parents are kind of still in the old days or in their generation, while we're in like the new or the present days. Thank you very much, Jenny and Vic. Prince.
Yeah, immediately is similar to Jenny and Vic, you know, kind of. Yeah, fun to say, of course, require a Bible crown. Yeah, we basically use our phones, but in paying for Niana to Donna, no, still, we use to book no Bibles. No. Yeah, and in case you take notes, cry, yeah, like you to know, no, better on the phone, not taking notes. Penny, or better pen the paper, not true.
Okay, we'll use a lot of technology, yes. Before Abigail talks, because she's sitting right next to me, I'm going to read a few people from the chat. Yes, Pastor Budiako, the question is, what is the difference between us and our parents' generation? So in the chat, we have mentality, as I said. We have knowledge about computers and social media. I think that goes to Prince's point. Someone wrote me that we question more things than our parents do. So probably our parents just take things just as it is, but we will ask follow-up questions and so on and so forth. Someone also wrote me, we are more flexible and more, maybe in Klammern, maybe open to changes. So our generation is more flexible and open to changes. I think our parents are more stricter in like their clothing, and we try to modernize our dressing a bit. Yes, so someone's talking about dressing that our parents are very strict. Abigail, you can talk, and then I'm going to read the follow-up.
I think the older generation is somehow a bit more committed to tradition. Like they mix tradition with religion or culture with religion. And I think that's something we don't really, we still have it, but we want to change it, or we are open to changes, like someone already said.
Thank you very much, Abigail. Then in the chat,
I wanted to add something too.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. You can read the chat and then afterwards.
Oh, okay. So someone also said, we have equality between male and female. If I understood the person right, correct me if I'm wrong. Some equality between male and female, that our generation is more equal between male and female. And then someone also wrote me, oh, okay. We are more relaxed than our parents when it comes to culture things. That we are more relaxed than our parents, that they are more stricter when it comes to culture. Someone said the new generation equals microwave generation. So I think probably goes to the fact that we want to have things quick instead of long process, so we just want to have things very, very quick. Then someone said we're open-minded. Our generation switches languages during service if necessary. Yes, we're more flexible when it also comes to our language that we use. Someone also said mental health acknowledgement, that we are more aware about mental health And then Enoch said that the older generation is more disciplined than ours, that the older generation is more disciplined. Enoch, go back to me the BB account.
Okay, what I wanted to add is that I think that the generation of our parents have a different relationship to God. One being mostly Ghana no said a honor sorry no tenant tisa has a Ghana or sorry and a Ghana to multimedia more activities than here. And then also one being Sayanwan Tumwa. If you come into a church being older or having the choice in converted commas, I'm not saying that we don't have a choice, but saying that they change their churches or they will leave to the SDA church, means that they have a different connection to God than us, because we were all mostly born into the church. So our relationship is a bit different than theirs to the church and to God.
Great, thank you very much, Enoch. Thank you very much. Anyone else? If not, then I would hand over to Enoch and we'll go to the next question.
Okay. Next point is youth and church. As I've said, we want this conversation to be a helpful conversation. And as we've said, things now are collecting, everything that we are writing down, we're going to hand it over to the churches and to the pastors, and we would like them, and I know that the pastors are open for it, to discuss these things in their churches as well. Okay, so the question it's actually two questions. How is the current situation like in your church in regards to the youth? And why are the youth leaving the church? So, Simbisano Adikano say, Sisino was Safono Musena near Manote youth no mebono, Sena near Mexico, and there twas so Argentina youth no be Jaya, so and also move free as Safonomu. So this question goes to all of us. So in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand.
Because I think we have 3 countries here, Germany, Belgium, and Holland. So it'll be interesting to see how the church, in regards to the youth, is going in the other countries too. So if anyone wants to say something. Oh, guys, don't leave us like that. Hey, amen. Thank you, Ellen Kasa. Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. As for my church, what I've viewed is that a lot of youth leave the church because of lack of acceptance. As in, when you wear this, you don't enter the church building. If you do this, you can't take over a duty. So the way the youth is being embraced really plays a massive role in how they feel in church. And if they do not feel that they can come as they are, I feel like that is the reason warum viele Leute dann die Kirche verlassen, why some people leave the church.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ellen. Someone also wrote me privately that something they've noticed in their church is that you can't say anything without people taking it personal, that we're not open to conversation without it being personal attacks. I think that's what the person wanted to say. And then I'm going to take the first 2 and from the chat, and then I think Jenny and Vic also wanted to say, and Prince also wanted to say something. So someone wrote, youth are leaving because of the criticism and judgment of adults, sometimes youth too. So because of criticism and judgment from each other in church, and youth don't feel supported by the older generation. We don't feel supported by them. Then I'm going to let Jenny and Vic talk, and then Prince, and then I'm going to read the next few things that are in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Actually, our situation is good because we started to do our own Sabbath school and our own divine service and afternoon program with Ada Sakodje. So es ist abgleich.
Und zu der zweiten Frage, so wie jemand schon gesagt hat, weil manchmal Erwachsene, aber auch Youth einfach diese Judgment und einfach wie zum Beispiel falsch gemacht hast, wie einfach Erwachsene mit dir reden. Eine Art und Weise, die einfach nicht geht, das könnte auch dazu führen, dass Youth einfach die Kirche verlassen.
Und sich nicht wohlfühlen.
Thank you very much. To translate what they said the second thing they said was the approach. Sometimes how adults will be talking to you if you do a mistake or anything, that is also something that makes a lot of people leave the church. Prince.
Yeah, thank you, Evelyn. Sometimes also, yeah, it's because of work. Omunya Juma Saturday na yana no mo hwesi kana mo gina yana a big way more almost will be to me gym no maba. Sorry. And so yeah, sometimes it's because of work, yeah.
Thank you very much, Prince. Thank you very much. Then someone wrote me privately that they just don't feel comfortable anymore in church. And it's not only because of what the parents, but also it's because of how we treat each other. There's no unity in the church. And it feels like inside the church, there are like different groups inside the church. And then you just feel judged. Then also in the chat, someone wrote, to add to my brother Enoch Amsterdam's point, one reason the youth leave the church is that the adults didn't properly invest in him or in us. Yes, that the adults don't invest in the youth, and that's why the youth leave. Okay, I'm getting a lot of private messages. Then someone also wrote privately. Okay, I'm going to read the last one privately, and then I'm going to let Enoch speak, and then I'm going to read again as Enoch Osei from Amsterdam. So the last one is the art advisor. Give me a sec. I'm just reading it in German to translate it. Oh, okay. The person is saying the way people are punished in church. Also, for example, when we have 13 Sabbath and a child couldn't say the memory verse, the way it's punished is sometimes too harsh, and that it's like maybe the person is just not, or maybe the person doesn't want to do it or is not talented in this area, but you're forced to do it even though you don't feel comfortable doing it. So then I'm going to let Enoch speak, and then I'm going to continue reading the things in the chat. Enoch?
Yeah. I think also the youth are leaving because the church only uses them when it's convenient to them. Like whenever the church is trying to find something for the scripture readings or for the type promotion, then suddenly then they know that they have youth in the church, and I think that doesn't make the youth feel like they're a part of the church only when they're called upon for the scripture reading and so things like that.
Thank you very much, Enoch. Thank you very much. I'm going to read 3 more comments, and I'm going to let Ellen speak, and then I'm going to continue reading the comments because they're really coming in. Someone said, I think the youth are leaving based on peer pressure. Then someone said, our church is quite small and mainly has elderly people who are not open to changes. The youth feel like they have no one to refer to. So most people are elderly people and they just don't want changes. And then someone also wrote me personally, what really annoys me is that when someone is trying to tell me how I should believe in God. So someone trying to tell me how I should believe in God. Maybe the person can write me privately and get more into that so that we can understand that. Okay, then I'm going to let Ellen speak and then Perpetua speak, and then I'm going to continue reading. Ellen?
Ich glaube auch, what contributes to the fact that people are leaving is that I can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, for a long time, I didn't really know what I'm doing in church. Like, I was born into the church, but I had no relationship with God in the beginning. And so when I do not know my why, it's so easy to leave when I get criticized or when someone is shouting. So not having a relationship or being trained to do duties, but not being trained to love God and have a strong bond can help us can push us to leave whenever it gets tough. That's what I think.
Thank you very much, Ellen. To add something more to Ellen's point is, I feel like sometimes we are taught to, they're more focused on teaching us how to be good SDA people than actually teaching us how to have a relationship with Jesus. So it's more about what you do, and then you have to do this and that, than really being concerned about what someone is maybe spiritually or going through in their faith. So thank you very much, Ellen. Then I'll Perpetua, and then I'm going to read a few comments, and then Abigail. Perpetua?
Hört ihr mich?
Ja, wir hören dich.
Yes.
Ja, was ich sagen wollte ist, ich persönlich habe die Kirche verlassen, weil ich denke, dass man Wert von seinem Aussehen oder wie man als Person, Charakter ist, verurteilt, und dann darf man in der Kirche nichts machen, weil man dann sagt, die ist schlecht, obwohl man die Person eventuell gar nicht kennt oder man weiß gar nicht, was die Person macht, sondern nur weil die Person so aussieht oder sich so gibt, heißt es, sie ist schlecht und sie darf dann nichts machen. Und noch etwas, es sind immer die gleichen Leute, die etwas machen. Das war mein Problem jetzt.
Okay, thank you very much, Perpetua. So Perpetua said 2 points. She said, first of all, she left the church personally because she feels like, as someone said, that we're being judged by how we look, but then also the judgment goes so far that you're not allowed to do certain things in church because people feel like, oh, you are this and this way, so we're not going to let you do this and this. And also, I think her second point was, hey,
the same people do the...
Yeah, the same people, exactly. The same people do the same things. That always the same people do the same thing. Thank you very much, Perpetua. I'm going to read a few more comments and then Abigail next to me is going to talk. Give me a second. So someone said, peer pressure from outside the church. Many hypocritical people, youth and adults. Then someone also wrote me, it's in German, so I'm just... Oh, okay, so it said that we have certain jobs that we're not allowed to do or certain things that we're not allowed to do. For example, this whole football topic because of the Sabbath, but okay. But there's not like, it's not being taught or there's no counseling on all these things, if I understood the person right. And then comparison with the youth. Yes, comparison with the youth was also given that a lot of youth are compared to each other. And then one more, and then Abigail's going to talk. Keiner wird dich wieder support. Oh, okay. Someone said you don't get support after say a tour and you come back. Say a tour and you come back. You don't get this. You don't get support. So, for example, if someone is expelled from church for a certain reason and they come back, you don't get the support that you need when you get back. Abigail.
Ja, ich wollte auch nur sagen, dass wenn man, also selbst wenn jemand zurückkommt, dann ist wie die Person, wie wir sie herzlich willkommen heißen, nicht die Art und Weise, wie wir jemanden auch dazu bringen, zu bleiben. So. Also wir verscheuchen die Leute selber, weil wir uns so benehmen.
Abigail said also to that point that when someone goes and comes back, that we don't embrace the person back, but we kind of push the person back out. Thank you very much, Abigail. Okay, there are a lot of comments, so I'm just gonna go through them. Sorry.
Okay, then quickly. No, we can
yeah, I'm gonna go through them quickly. So comparison, that was like, okay. So he said gossip. Someone said our current situation is difficult. So it feels like we get jobs just so that we will be quiet. So the youth just get jobs so that they just be quiet and not complain anymore. That's how it feels like. Then someone said, ein wichtiger Punkt ist, dass in der Kirche immer Gruppenbildungen gibt und andere teilweise unterdrückt werden. Es ist kaum Einheit zu sehen und es ist interessant und es interessiert niemanden, wie es einem wirklich geht als Person. Okay, so the person is just saying that that there are groups inside the church and we feel suppressed by them and that there is no unity inside the church. And as like no one cares how you're actually doing. No one cares as you as a person, cares about you as a person. Someone said the worship suits adults most because not many youth are willing to participate. Okay, someone is coming from a different perspective. The worship suits the adults most because not many youth are willing to participate. When youth just want to be spectators, no youth adds a youthful flavor, so it's just old-fashioned. That makes it not interesting to the youth. Thank you very much. Someone said the youth never read the church doctrine to know that what the church is about. Good. Think Mama Sawankasa last now. We see all the comments and then we're going to Mama Sawankasa 2 seconds. Okay, some people leave because they don't think that they're important for the church, except from the fact that we all sing in youth choir. We don't feel like we're important for the church. Then, okay. If we have problems or if we want to change something in the church, the pastors and elders will listen but won't do anything. Someone said they listen but they don't do anything. And someone said that the pastors have favorite people in the church. They have people that they prefer more than other people. That's why they leave the church. Mama Sawapacha Kasa.
Ich wollte gerne auf Deutsch sprechen.
Ja.
Und zwar, ich habe das Gefühl, also man muss ja wissen, dass abgesehen von der Kirche, dass wir noch ein Leben führen, ne? Also dass wir anderes Struggles haben. Keine Ahnung, es gibt der eine oder andere hat vielleicht eine Depression oder sonstiges. Und ich habe das Gefühl, dass man von der Kirche einen Druck hat, perfekt zu sein. Und dass wenn man gewisse Sachen nicht erfüllt, dass man nicht gut genug ist. Und das ist ein großes Problem, finde ich. Weil man diesen Druck hat, in der Kirche muss man perfekt sein. Und wenn du das nicht bist, gehörst du halt nicht dazu.
Thank you very much. Beatrice just said that there's a certain pressure in the church to be perfect. So if you're not perfect and if you don't reach the standard of what you should be like, then you don't feel like you belong there. Okay, great. Enoch Twaso.
Thank you very much. We wrote down some things about the current situation. So some youth, it's almost everything summed up. So some feel overlooked in the church and some feel overwhelmed. So two extremes. There's one extreme that feels like nobody thinks of them in the church. And other extremes, I think a lot of youth leaders, especially youth leaders, feel a bit overwhelmed because as a baby and then lack of interest and no motivation. So some are not interested, maybe because of certain topics. And then lack of representation, as Enoch has already said, youth are only used when they are useful for the adults, and then ignored and no conversation eye level. In the youth, it's always from above, and it's always like you are telling the person to do something. Evelyn's alles gut. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
And then certain topics are questioned but not answered. You will say, okay, but when you reach a certain age and a certain level of education and you start questioning things, not in a bad way, you start questioning things and you want to know the reason, it sometimes comes off as if the parents themselves don't even know why they actually do certain things and just say Nyamim Pesa. Okay, so here more reasons why people leave the church. I want to sum it up quickly. Low acceptance and judging, as we have said. Language is one point which is very problematic in most churches. Kasano ayade enyo biana timika tribu honso office on timin kanutrino kano Deutsch and answer bibisano yebese sani pakrono. And then one is dressing and hairstyles. Obiwa said a kind of said osienitino, and as I said, Natari no shano, Yemanun Rasa for the Manasi Manu Enya, sorry, Jumabio, they don't get certain church offices because of the way they dress. And then disrespect and pressure, so harsh approaches. Everyone has to be perfect comparison with other youth, and then pressure, marriage school, etc. And then hypocrisy, I think, is the biggest word a lot of people use. We don't do what we want others to do. I want to continue because we want time later for you guys to speak as well. And also pinpointing, even though some parents do the same. Personally, we know that we have to keep the Sabbath, but in front of so per se or bono, but there's something on the screen. Sorry. But parents in McCutcheon are saying, yeah, allowed to, but those says some parents actually work on Saturday as well. So the hypocrisy is a bit confusing for some people. And then not answered questions, no answers to certain questions. So you can't give them an answer, especially when it comes to mix of culture and religion. One big topic being wedding rings and dukus and rasta or braids and many topics which are not answered, and everyone has kind of a different approach on certain things, which is very confusing for some youth. And then unbalanced emphasis, so language over relationship with God. Certain things are tried to be or made perfect, and the relationship between the youth and God themselves is not in focus. So also even so as a youth no kasa also kasa ye takes no car also you know come out also come but akoda no na as a youth ne onyankopa yonko for no shedan here obiasa. And then criticizing of clothes, I think we spoke about it. And then you get in focus when you have already left the church. So some people feel like, show. But if you're in church and it feels like you're not interested, nobody actually cares about you. And then one thing is comparison, we talked about it. And then playing down opinions and complaints into youth, how they feel in the church. As in Pennifono oh, so we cried, how we say, so they downplay things people say. And it is quite frustrating for some people. And then sexual harassment and victim blaming in the church, which is one thing that didn't come up, which is a bit shocking for me. But sexual harassment is a thing that is going on currently and has been going on for a long time. And one thing that is in church, and also is victim blaming. Victim blaming, shortly explained, is what has the uncle way also has an answer anti also me has a many pakona catches I saw tadia show and it's all person be so or the person tells you because of what you were wearing, you wanted the person to touch you, even though that is not the case. And a lot of input, but nowhere to give output as if for your but there's no chance to use the things we actually learn in church. And then misuse of power when it comes to age and language. Will argue in chi, wants to cast an own team in shadow, own team in cantino, or no, but try sub overpower. And to once okay, baby, an hour cast a trino, in shadante. I don't understand what you're saying, so you feel overpowered. Okay, Evan, I think we are continuing with the next question. What you too?
To other people that wrote me privately, we see everything that you wrote and we're going to hand it over. We don't have the time to read it all now, but we're going to hand it definitely over to the people that are writing the things down for the churches. So the next question after we've went through all this, before we come to the solutions, is how do you see the church in 10 years if everything remains as it is right now? That is something that we have to ask ourselves, because at the end of the day, we are the future of the church and we are going to lead it. So how do we see the future of the church if changes don't happen? I think guys can think a little bit about it if you want to write. Someone just wrote me, if okay, someone, I think I'm gonna read it. Someone said, wait a minute. If everything keeps going on this way, there won't be a church no more. Okay, someone has just said that. Someone wrote, there's definitely not gonna be a big church. There's only gonna be a church with just a few people in it. Someone wrote, we're going to go our separate ways. Someone wrote, the church is going to be closed. Someone wrote, the church is in danger if everything remains the same. Someone wrote, no one else is going to be there except the adults. So it's going to be just an adult church with no youth.
Yeah, at one point that I wanted to add is either a lot of people will leave the church, or there's always two sides. If you're not allowed to do certain things, if the people who suppress you go, you do whatever you want to do, and the church will change completely. Maybe the regulations and doctrines that we have, they will get lost. So there's 2 points are there.
Thank you very much. So I just wanted to comment on something short before Enoch starts, that someone wrote in the church. So someone said that all the things we're talking about are just speculations. Has someone taken the time to do a ground study or research about this problem? We always go around this issue and never come into conclusion. I think we need a good study, not just a dialogue. I just wanted to add to that I think the study starts with the dialogue, right? Because the people you're going to go and ask for the research are the people that are talking right now. So if anyone wants to do, so I think it starts with the dialogue, and then and I don't feel like it's just speculation, because people are talking about real life experiences in the church. And I think one of the disclaimers were we should try to be empathetic. So maybe you don't have that experience in church. Maybe you've never gone to church and someone has commented on your dress. Maybe you've never gone to church and someone has talked about you behind your back. But let's not dismiss people's experience with saying that it's speculation or it's not. It's just, let's just not dismiss it and try to listen and a little bit understand where people are coming from. Thank you.
And maybe
yes,
Evelyn,
yes,
to add to that point, these are not just speculations. And then you say officially, the General Conference did a survey and a research. There's a paper, a white paper on it. Those who are interested can check on the website of the General Conference, where they actually talked about these issues. Until the church as a body, has got an interest in it. We don't just talk about it, we try to find solutions. It is like you rightly said, let's just be sensitive about the kind of things that we say. That's it.
Thank you very much, Shanipa. Thank you very much. Okay, then Enoch can talk, and then I have a few people who wrote me privately. Enoch?
I think surely the youth will leave, but I think they will leave for other denominations like Pentecost or the Catholic Church or whatever, and be more how can I say that? They will have more like power to convict other people who don't know much about Christ and what's the truth about Christ. So they, instead of we being the remnant church, we should go and tell the truth, that we will have less more power to convict those that we are the only church they should follow.
Thank you very much, Enoch. So people are writing me privately. Someone said a new church will be formed. So a completely new church. To add to what Enoch just said, I think a lot of people will also go into international churches. So I feel like maybe the Ghanaian church will be a bit less than it is right now, and people will go more into the Ghanaian churches and other the international churches and other cultures. Then someone also wrote the church will be split in two groups, maybe two types of SDA churches. Oh, that's an interesting point, that someone said it'll be split into two types of SDA churches. Yes, I think that's all the things that people, yes, Enoch Kasa, sorry.
Okay, what I wanted to say, what I think will happen is either one problem being the language, that I'm taking Germany for an example. If things continue as they are right now, I would think that many would would go to the German churches. So maybe Enoch, I speak German fluently. I was born in Germany, so I'm going to a German church because of the differences and how things are not working out. And then one thing, I forgot the next one, that you can continue.
Okay, then think about it, then we're gonna go on. So someone wrote, we would be glad to read the study. I think it's been long overdue to share that with the churches since we have always been talking about it. So it'd be nice if if Nipaba can maybe find the study and then send the link, and then people can actually go and read that study.
I'm just putting it in the link now.
Amen. Thank you very much, Nipaba. There people can go and find it. Then someone wrote me privately, God chosen people will stay and others will find their way. So someone says the people that are serious about church are going to stay and others may find their way back to the church. Someone said, I think the future church will be on Zoom. Yes, who knows? I hope not. But I think the future church will be on Zoom. People can then judge less, and it will benefit everyone, even those who struggle to dress and come physically to church. Okay, someone said if it's on Zoom, then we'll maybe have less judgmental people and less issues with dressing. Who knows? I hope not that's going to be on Zoom. Please not. Oh, someone said the church will only, Enoch, then Wakayaka.
Okay, I was saying that I think a lot of people, even those who believe in God, will maybe change their church attitude, and it will be like, I'll come to church for divine service and then I leave. I won't do any church offices. I'll just come to church and praise God for 2 hours of the week, and that's it. No Sabbath school, no church office, because it's too uncomfortable in the church.
Okay, thank you very much, Enoch. Someone wrote the church will only be families. So there'll only be families in the church. That would be the church, the congregation, just families doing church together. And then Okay, so everyone can look in the chat. Uncle Nipaba has posted the research in there that we can then look into that research. Thank you very much, Uncle Nipaba. Okay, good. I have no other things in the comments, so I think we can move on, Enoch. We're good in time.
Yeah, I think there was one hand up, Abena. I don't know who Abena is.
Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe she doesn't want to. Okay. Going on. Okay. How I can't every country vorlesen, das das Bild vor bei mir.
Oh, okay. Yes. How can the youth be more involved in the church to provide a brighter future? How can the youth be more involved? Yes, Enoch, sorry.
Okay. Me kan chika krebi. Yeah, kakra. So, Diana ibetimi aya, ibetimi ama youth na ye adwuma wa so no mu said ye dach no betimi aya dach pa. So what can we do? So these are practical things. As we've said, we've gathered a lot of criticism. So now it's using the criticism to do something good, to bring something constructive. We don't want this to be destructive, but constructive. So to build upon what has been, there were good things happening, but also bad things. Now let's try to make the best out of it. Okay, so Ellen and then Abigail.
Okay, ich finde, das ist eine gute Frage. It's a good question, but I feel like something needs to come before that question. Because if we just focus on keeping the youth in church duties, I don't agree with that, because I feel like there are so many people with issues. For example, as Beatrice said, having mental issues, inferiority matters. We need to meet them there. What is the spiritual struggle? What are they dealing with at home? Do they have abusive experiences? I think we need to help them. And if we help them as a church by, for example, bringing in psychologists, having youth leaders that build relationships with them, then they will freely be like, I want to do something in church. That's what I feel like, that we need to meet them where they are with their faith and mental struggles. And then we can see how can we use you in the church. Like, that's what I think.
Thank you very much, Ellen. Just to add something small, can I add just something very small to what Ellen said? I personally think, because we did this this discussion before, and I was actually disappointed in how it turned out, to be honest. A lot of people found it good, but I was disappointed because I feel like before we can move forward, there needs to be accountability. I was personally disappointed because we were on that Zoom, people were talking about real life experiences, and no one took it upon themselves to maybe just stop and say, we're sorry that you feel that way. We're sorry that you've experienced that in church. It was immediately, oh, okay, yeah, but look what this and this and this and this. Or it was immediately, okay, let's leave that in the past and let's move on to the future. I truly believe that we need to move on to the future, truly, truly do. But there needs to be accountability, because we can work on the future, but then we're working with people that are still hurt. We're working with people that are still holding grudges onto people that have talked about them. So I feel like we need to first all come to the agreement that we're going to hold each other accountable for the things that have happened, that we can maybe apologize to each other in a sense, and then we can move on. Because without that, we're all kind of moving on, still broken and still hurt and still struggling to even communicate. So I think that's something that's very important, to not just dismiss the past and be like, oh, it happened, let's just leave it there, but to actually address it and apologize and then move on. Kasa, sorry.
Okay, I think we should, as you two have said, we should maybe change the question up a bit, and let's just think about what can we do to make the whole situation better. I don't know how to make it easier for us. But one thing I also wanted to add is, Evelyn talked about accountability, and I said, because a lot of damage has been done. Many people are broken, many people are traumatized because of church, many people don't feel comfortable going to church. They're actually, some are actually scared to go back into church because of what have happened and what they've heard in church and what people tell them, or people have already insulted them. So maybe accountability from everyone in the church, I would say, starting with the I'm not saying that the pastors are doing something wrong or that they're bad people. We appreciate you very, very much, and we are very grateful to have you,
Yes,
and the elders as well. But starting from the head, because that's how it's like in Germany. So BBC, I was Angela Merkel, a power ansana, the rest comes. So this is how it's also in the church. So I'm not asking that every pastor should write a letter to certain youth, but maybe start off saying that you have done a lot of great things, but also there were some things that could have been different or should have been done differently. I think Enoch and Winner have something to say. So Enoch and then Winner.
I think before we even come to the adults in the church to look to a brighter future, we should look to our youth first. I think we should unify as a youth first before we can come strong to the church and actually show them like this is how we feel and this is the change we want. But if you're a youth and you're even broken in the youth itself, you don't really can bring some change, because then 5 people will be with you and then 10 will say, nah, I'm not for that. So I think you should have a cure as a youth first, a good basis as a youth, so that you can come together and actually show the church like, yeah, we as a youth, we want to see change, and we truly want to be the future in the church.
Okay, thank you very much. Winner.
Yeah, so I don't know if this has been said already, but I feel like this needs to be said. Sometimes I feel like we follow too much of what so our uncles in the church, the elders, the pastors has done. But I have this text here that I feel like it will be helpful for us to just remind ourselves. It says, many turn from Jesus because of a bad experience with religious people. We must remind them that Jesus also had a bad experience with religious people, and he was crucified. So we shouldn't follow religion to be saved, but we should follow Jesus to be saved. So I feel like sometimes our elders, our pastors, and the people in the church don't practice what they preach. God uses them in so many ways to be a vessel for us, to give us the word. It could be that someone will preach and you will be saved, you will be touched, but that person that is giving that message, that person's lifestyle is totally different from what he or she has preached that day. So sometimes I understand, I totally agree with keeping ourselves accountable for what people have done, really acknowledging there's so many things that are being like an unspoken rule, forbidden to even speak about in the religious community, or when it comes to our SDA community, that I feel like we really need to be cautious about. But at the same time, not because someone's downfall, someone's bad habit, you choose to leave the church, because at the same time, you see the church as like a hospital. You are coming for your headache, I'm coming for my stomach case, someone is coming for different things. So we should really be focused on that also, not because someone has done this, someone has done that, we just should leave the church, because the church is there as a hospital to save each and everybody for different and various things. My brother is also here to say something real quick.
Yes.
Okay, please shortly, because we don't have time. Thank you.
Yeah. So just to add something small is that one thing I would advise us all to do is try to have the mindset that the Bible actually provides. What we like others to do unto ourselves, we should also do the same thing to others. So if you've been to a rough situation, and of course it is a rough situation and you didn't like it, so if you see somebody going through that same situation, try to help that person. Or if there's something that's going to happen that is going to cause you to act in a bad way, imagine yourself how the person is going to feel, and imagine yourself you being in that person's shoes, how you would feel. So let's try to treat each other as how we like ourselves to be treated. So let's also take that into account.
Okay, thank you. So Evelyn,
hello?
last, yeah, hello?
Yeah, hello?
Who's this?
I want to make a contribution to this question.
Yeah.
Okay, we would ask the youth to speak first. So if we finish, then you can just add it. We'll give you the platform to speak. So we want to finish quickly so that we can come to the questions and contributions. So maybe Perpetual, and then Evelyn can read the chat, and then we continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Evelyn,
ja.
Was ich dazu sagen wollte ist, ich glaube, Enoch von Holland hat gesagt, dass wir als Youth zusammenhalten sollten und uns gegenseitig ermutigen sollen. Aber ich weiß selber, dass in Hamburg jemand versucht hat, die jugendlichen Mädchen zusammenzubringen. Und es hieß, wir können das nicht machen, weil die Church-Regeln das nicht erlauben. Also es sind immer diese Regeln, die uns von Sachen verhindern, die wir vielleicht machen wollen. Aber dann heißt es, ihr könnt das nicht machen, weil Pastor noch nicht zugestimmt hat, weil Eltern noch nicht zugestimmt hat. Was kann man da machen?
Okay. So our sister just said that Enoch from Amsterdam talked about that we should stay together or keep as a unity as the youth, and she has a personal experience where someone from the church was trying to do that, to make like a group for the youth or for the girls in the youth, and they weren't allowed to do it because there were certain rules where the pastor must agree, the elder must agree, and it was just taking a long time. So I said the process was slowing down what they were actually trying to do so that we can progress. Thank you very much.
Out the chat, we've got a lot of hands, but we will continue because of the time.
Yeah, so sorry, but I'm just gonna read. I'm just gonna read the people that wrote me privately. The people that wrote publicly, you can all read in the chat. So I think that will go faster. Someone said sometimes we have to make the youth do the program in the church and avoid the elders, so that the youth would take more charge of the programs. And someone also wrote, I think we have to make the youth take charge of everything in the church, and the elders will be guiding us and teaching us when we are wrong. So I think the person is saying not charge of the whole church, but like what concerns the youth. So if the youth is doing a program, or if, I don't know, we have a youth church, that we'll give the youth more responsibility, and we would trust them to do what they to do it by themselves. And if they need correction and if they're wrong, that pastors and elders can come in. Thank you very much. And the public things you guys can read.
Okay, thank you very much. You want so practical advice? I think we just I'm just going to add some. So break the language barrier, age-appropriate topics. I think we're going to talk about the youth camp meeting, so we can talk about age-appropriate topics, and then structure for options for those who are not interested in adult programs. So maybe give them a youth program, and then not only use the token youth for programs. I think we talked about it, that only 1 or 2 people do certain things. That we change it up and switch it up, and then encourage youth talent. We're going to talk about the youth camp meeting. I think we're going to add that, and involvement in programs as well. So more involvement, not just being scripture readings, as Enoch has said, but different things apart from the youth day. So maybe get a youth to preach apart from the youth day, or do other things like afternoon programs as well. Okay, so now we're going on to the youth camp. Everyone going to take over, and then you can lead the questions and contributions. Okay, so the question now is, as we are in our youth camp meeting, let's think about a bright future, because we know that God cares about us in some way. Some or the other way, Corona's gonna go away in Jesus' name. Amen. So what can we do to make the youth, what can we do to make the future youth camp meetings more appealing? I'm a youth in Shemuna, your friend, a youth camp meeting, no, Atimaya Kono, I'm a youth no kakra, or more appealing. What can we do? What can we change? So now practical things. What do you think that we can write down to do for the next youth camp meeting, so that the next youth camp meeting is going to be more appealing? Because this one was a blessing. I really love the youth camp meeting, but there's always things you can do better. So Westy Usman, so please help us out.
Yeah, thank you very much, Enoch and Evelyn, for leading that nice presentation. Edino ayede to camp no kra etreno youth camp. So I think the youth no na also more, since it's just only musical and also social activities and our morning devotion. I think today able shock and nina on also call bet me a preachy and also bet me a seminar be until I think it's okay just among youth no a boy and nina am I yen so ya so yenso ye GD no ayede kakra. Yeah.
So more youth involvement in the youth camp meeting, apart from music, socials, and morning devotions. Thank you very much. Somebody else? Evans in the chat?
Yeah, in the chat someone wrote more socials or get to know each other. Time Oh, okay. More socials or get to know each other time, not only one day. Someone just said not only one day socials. Someone says involve the youth in the program or in the programming, and we need to do more surveys. That's what the people wrote in the chat.
Okay. So surveys before the youth camp meeting, innit?
I think the person's gonna...
Befragung, what they like, what they want to talk about.
Probably beforehand, if I'm not wrong, Letitia.
Okay. Then I also wanted to add something, if there are no hands up. My idea, which I want to put into, give to the youth department or the GGAF youth group or the youth leaders, I want to talk about to later as well, is breaking the system of the youth camp meeting, so making it totally different. Because now we've done it for, I think this is the 6th time, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it was the same structure as always. And I think it was great. It was good preaching morning devotions, preaching seminars, and then congregations, the revival message. I would think that we could maybe change. We've got so many youth with different talents. So we've got people that are into making music. So maybe give them 3 hours or 4 hours of the day to make a song. And at the end of the youth camp meeting, they present the song that they made. Or maybe youth that are into poetry or into acting or into, I don't know, many things, arts. And then you give them the time to really socialize and to get to know each other. Some want to do more, want to do activities like sports, and then you give them the time to do it. And they go hiking, and then at the end we can meet and do the morning devotion and the service at the end, but maybe break the system of just doing the seminars, just sitting and listening to people that are mostly not youth, which is, I like the pastor's preachings, but I think we could break it and make it something different. Yeah, thank you. I think Beatrice's hand was up as well. B?
Ja, ich wollte eigentlich dasselbe sagen und ich finde, wir sollten das auch mal trennen, Jungs und Mädchen, mal die Sofomamis. Wir haben nur, also Pastoren ist ja schön und gut, machen das auch super, aber wir brauchen auch mal Frauen, die involviert sind, weil es gibt gewisse Dinge, die kannst du nicht mit einem Pastor besprechen und da ist ja die Hemmschwelle, man hat ja diesen Respekt vor diesem Pastor. Just like that, but able is different. I can say some stuff, you know, so so it will be a blessing if you also can talk to them and yeah.
So more female involvement, especially because some girls look up to the wives of the pastors and other women, so that they can do topics as well, because not everyone is comfortable speaking about a female's problem in front of a male, and maybe someone would like a female person to talk to or to look up to and ask questions in the youth camp meetings. Thank you very much. Great point. What else? What can we do to make the future youth camp meetings more appealing?
Short. Sorry, my internet was just gone. So the people that wrote me privately, if they could text it again, because the things in the chat are gone. But someone said also to present what? I remember that someone wrote that we should talk less about marriage. Someone said workshops, we should do workshops. And I think that even goes to what Enoch said. I was talking with Beatrice about it, that instead of seminars or instead of preachings, that we have like different workshops for people that are into spoken words, because I feel like a lot of people in their second are doing a amazing job when it comes to spoken words. Some people are interested in maybe preaching style, the way Westy and Abel and Enoch preach. We can do a seminar on that for the people that are interested, just to give people options. We don't all have to do everything together. Exactly. So, and then someone said, Ellen said, also getting experts for certain topics and use our own people and their professional knowledge. Amen. Thank you very much, Ellen. I think Mama Saman ist das so.
Genau, was ich auch noch hinzufügen wollte, ist, dass wir über Tabuthemen sprechen, weil in der Kirche macht man das nicht, zu Hause macht man das jetzt auch nicht unbedingt. Deswegen sollte man diese Youth Camp nutzen, um über gewisse Dinge zu sprechen, weil es die beschäftigen uns ja auch. Auch wenn wir in der Kirche gehen, hat jemand Depression oder Selbstmordgedanken oder sonstiges. Deswegen ist es wichtig, dass wir über sowas reden.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Beatrice just said that we talk about taboo topics. So even if we go to church, maybe taboo topics like depression or like suicide, that we use this opportunity to talk about these things. And someone also wrote, talking more about self-love, less talking about marriage, more talking about mental illness. I think we should separate Pfadfinders and adult youth, also to present our traditional marriage stuff. Genau, so that we should also separate the ages, the Pfadfinders and then us, and that we should talk more about mental illnesses. Okay, great.
Is somebody else? Last call. Because we have to continue because of the time. I think many people want to add something. Okay, Evelyn, if not, I would continue. Is there anything in the chat?
Yeah, just two last things. To introduce our tradition as Ghanaians to the youth, that should be there. To talk more about mental health, exactly, and to explain mental health and not just say that it's the devil, someone wrote, and also to talk more about the taboos our adults always push away that we should do. Yes, that was the last thing in the chat.
Okay, so we finished. We use the time. We want to use the time well. So first of all, thank you guys for your attention. May God bless you all. It was a pleasure for me, and I know it was a pleasure for Evan as well to talk to you guys. And thank you to the leaders. Thank you to the pastors, especially Pastor Dan, who gave us this task. Thank you very much. I think this is very helpful, and we need to start the conversation. And I think this is a very good start into a brighter future. So now we are given a platform for questions and contributions. As we've said, everything really short. We want everyone to speak, so it would be great if everyone could get the chance to speak.
Yeah.
And I just want to add that we are all just human. Everyone makes mistakes, and try to feel empathetic for another person and how the person may feel. You may not feel the same way, but someone feels this way. Let's try to take that seriously.
Enoch, before they come, I think I would let our Uncle Johnny, who wanted to talk beforehand. Uncle Johnny Pachuoho.
Yeah.
Okay, then Uncle Johnny can start, and then I think Daniel has his hand up too.
Okay, thank you. I want to contribute to the question of what we can do to actually, as a youth, what we can do to improve the future of our church. What we should know is that the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Germany and the entire Europe and the churches in Ghana, we all have a common enemy. And the enemy that is fighting you is the same enemy fighting everybody around. So what we must know is that this kind of people stepping on the toes of people and then them leaving the church is not going to stop. It is not something that is soon to stop, because the church of Ephesus is not the same as the church of Laodicea. So when these things happen, we can do our best to reinstate those people back. But let us not portray ourselves as if when you come to church and somebody does something to you, then it means that you can just back off the church. Mostly people who back off from church are people who have not even recognized why they are called to join the congregation of God. And it is worth we pursue those people and then try to speak to them so that we can bring them back. But in as much as we are doing that, we should know that when you come into the house of God, there is a reason why God called you to become a member of his congregation. And whatever God has given you, the talent he has given you to work in his vineyard, identify yours and stick to it. If you identify your place and you are in your place, nobody can move you out of that place. I've realized that most of the young people in Europe, you struggle, especially with the adult class, because they don't give you the opportunity for you to grow. Is not there. You understand? I faced that when I was living in the bigger cities in Accra, but I actually left. God made me left Accra to a remote church. That is where I saw my usefulness, because I was given, there was a lot of work outside there for me to do. And in doing those work, God has been able to groom me for me to also to come that far that I have come. So please, there are a lot of things that we can do. If you are a nurse, if you are a doctor, we can just, the vineyard of God is not only limited to Europe. You and I can organize ourselves.
Okay, thank you, Uncle. Yeah, Pastor.
Thank you.
Hand bill was so after that, I'll be very happy. Say mobile man opportunity, Mama.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Just one disclaimer before we continue. Cecilia, we've got like 30 minutes left, so we'd like everyone to keep it very, very short, and don't take it personal when I interrupt you, because of time we want everyone to speak. So it's Daniel and then Pastor Donko, and I think other pastors may want to add something.
Yeah.
Let's not forget this is a youth camp meeting, so we've got a parent service every week, so let's try to make the youth also have their say. Thank you very much. So now Daniel and then Pastor Donko.
You made a massive. Ma can send the brain. Some of your kind in no, but just say youth leaders in an you take information. You very good, informative questions now. Buy and contributions in your damasi. As my person me can say. Tembia you can't assorry no paying for no. Your mama no more papa no more. Mamu renfi. Ubia ma men and papa kahobi. So into discussions no. Many beji say. Si a person says sorry na. You starting your discussions no fee. Okay. So mami bi obi mami akasma chro ayi youth bi amana ye youth ne ya. Papa bi akasem bi chro bi mana ye ne ya. Ya papa nom ya mama no bi ya fie no. Enti se change no mesre say change na ye pen wo ho. Yen start engage your parents. Yen start them have conversations. The way they approach other people. All right, the way they approach the youths. Yen starting here papa no yan mama no kasa. The omo pese ye pese papa bi ka kire yen no. Yen ka kire papa no so no bi kasa na so ne mama bi ne akwala bi kasa one ne kasa sa. Enti se ye boy chi say ye fie na ya sware no so be den e besesa. Mpatro me no say me twa so short ma wie no. Yeah, you for your problem you have a tendency for compromising. Always we want to compromise. The person a compromise, you pay easier way out. Yentimi fa nyame mba your level. All right? Said the person assume nyame no. Yes na nyame you say dey ba form. Inti me pamocho. Sa nyama me no pen America. Medamase.
Thank you, Daniel. I mean P. Thank you very much. So now Pastor Donko.
And Pastor Makakitwa is a penny the Ojaria Nanka is Yasa.
Uncle Pastor, can you pass we announce the Kakrebiaba?
Okay. Nanka Mesanka, me ya cran or no ya penny mommy.
Yama commander when you're brief.
Okay.
Media like a craven American. In fact, they drew I confused. They tell I confused me say. Sometimes no more person munya adwuma more ye. Yakopre adwuma no so de ba. Mo person mo be ye. Enti e ba sa na bed na kwada nipa mienu miensa bi ade half well and some be ye adwuma no. Ya hu bi kura o camp yase. Se o hia nipa be miensa na na mi be ye program sa na so beto dwom sa. Enti no and yes, be ampanyimfo no be so mbeboa mo, but sometimes no mo am pese mo fam we say the end this year. Entimi ma wo level our standard ya say eda ho. I was say ye duru ho. So and as ade no pre near the brewa, and yes ye the bless akode so meye na trans na ti. Yes you funu na mo meye. Bo say afi na akogina nipa mienu miensa. In fact e duru ho no na ama next program no o plan na ayeden. Enti e besere mo se de mahunu am kan no ensem ni pii no ye betena ase nya adwene ho na mom idea e ya futuo ma ye nyina ye ne e wo so se ye prese be adwuma no do dia one ye nya ready see ye be so responsibility ye fa nkoso ni pamienu enok na se ni pamiensa bia omo wa asoro mo ma nya prese be ye adwuma no medam ase.
Okay, that's a P. One thing, Uncle, let's keep in mind, say, be a minimum person, may be brave, but everyone so you'll be on per se or be bibintino. We can't generalize it. Minim say edimpa, we because say.
Aha, me katia. Name program so ntimi nya won kwaso.
Oh yeah, me you know.
Ha muntu mo hofo. So mon ke kasa nchira mo. Sometimes I don't want to do be an person me. Now because of this nyankopon adwuma ntino. I was saying what you say. Good.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, that's it. Pastor Donko now.
Good. Enoch. any thing na unyame fam so she I know say quite recently, possibly beginning of the year and barely a month ago, there was a similar program over Hamburg. And then Yamiado Mode Abba. Mijiri yese niamo free makumo mo kai or call Hamburg platform to be ya added more say. I think that I take here close to probably 1.5 hours to come out with your concerns. I can boldly say be a genuine. Most of them, in my 20 or so years in Germany, and working with both adults and youth, me feel a time we were going to say your mabun open up. Na mo can be a more concern. Say the be a nipa bi huna sorry no huna sorry no never be a more famwa. I just a nedia broso pa. Nti onyame enhyiramo. Mpese me gina so phone nyina na mo ka chem so onyame enhyiramo. There a tosso me no me pese me can say if there is any youth our platform is so now say yeah church member, elder, pastor, whatever. What think can I say? Maybe a near maybe anko ye enunti na ma wafra sorry num anampo uda so ewomu but say I will see timono ye mu bebro ha ya ti se mu pen mo kan mo mamu refi say de mo wo no ye mu bi etra ho ache na de mo famu se no ye mu bi so bi ya famu bi sa not necessarily say we Europe ha so you've come by ye yakobi pen ye nyina yakob you've come mampanifo adi ye nimpen ye nya opportunity aka de ye higher pen eti ni anko ye bia no me pese be stress yesunti eno nchese ni awo kan ye no kre because there is always two sides to a coin so but se bibi anko ya moma ye mfa nche ye di che no nchese no ano no I think say near ye did almost 2 hours akaya uncle nipa ba mo training ade we need another forum, another platform to address them mako ebi wo hokra na say ye be very very open na ye babo say sometimes be am identify me be enoch no on open up e ma me hu say ne sofo na maboa no and then obe complaining wo ba bi say me wo issue me mpanimfo amoame ebu ha na let me be very honest with you. Issues are more possible brain started from fear. You move a brain, your problems are your one penny for them, and I any Johnny D can kind. They are our parents, our uncles, I know Moti in the same house. Be antiasibina any juma. Eti basre many anum are soft one penny for Becassa. More listening, I know some of us and the abraye. Now, me person me show my boss in a very near future. Now we have to have a forum like this. And your mobile can by ever address the more canon. Na ever boy now. The person me stress so pass say if BB or what it has to do with Evelyn, Madame for Evelyn, me bondi, and now or him, we have to deal with it and not what sorry and now also for any family. Na a boy be ya call camp meetings, ya call youth company places are. I don't see anything wrong with it. Bayana emwa muhu ahohwa mo ye so ayise mo bakama samachre wo mo wono kan camp na so wi a okọ na wasa akofie and then it continue ebi a wo sofo ne asompanimfo hu ya wo de wo no nete ho they will help you to address it maybe a wo fere se o mpese o mo behu ahohwo no bebre no me mpene wo mo da ba mo ka wi a wo mo ko mo ngoma no ntum na echo round wa ensa medu ye ho na sei ni edi kan nyame nhyiramo na etoso biem no bibi anko yie pa fa che but ye hia ni say we are going to address mo concerns no yenso me pese me de kan ho say yenso ye wo concerns efa mo ho said mu hu ni ma bi no ebi a said yenso ye hunu no ani bibia no but when we come together I know say we can work together. Nyame kura say, come, let us reason together. Until we need to reason together. But I see some of my mama kasa. Nyame
shama. No, come here, pastor. I did not go away. Topic in the first, say na to hono pastor. You nya nipa bia. ebi wie sisi ebi ani ye hu omo bio nka mbese wo ka bibi kakra na asofo bi aba so omo hwe ho no ma ye kakra
wo di bibi ato so ama me
o chat na omo de to so no nipa bi a omo giri so betimi agye ya asore no se ma omo kwan na e ba address de but omo wo so na ebi na o chena na e ba address na oni ho
ai
minister ho no ho na kakra na mpese nka wo ba so bi
omo ba wo ho pani me da se bebre ba ene ma wo maka nti bi om so mbegya asore don ene ayi na megidi ye se obi a watimi abaso ne se na oma asore kura na o youth camp nyame adom waba o pese o stand out na o transit party na me say ni anko ye bia let us come together. Now we are going to look at all the concerns, you know. Yen tumerika ye time na so wie na ya address it baby aso for penny for aka ho mu be person mu kan bibi I think say on be kan dia boa.
Thank you, Pastor.
Amen. Pastor Namisha.
Amen.
And then also as said
God
Pastor
bless you.
as Pastor said, yeah, Pastor.
Let's try your time na so nti mama maka said ya mama me another 2 minutes na me address bibi why.
Okay, can you man nipa ba ko mi no bin kasa ansa na say short.
I can make a short.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not part discussions now. Yeah. No, I'm not going back into it. But I have had private messages. Yeah, very important. Me ko school Ghana nyini we the teacher kransa na meba akontum. Na me bedru and it took some time and sana meet me adjust. Nti obia ofri Ghana buy or buy or ma. What is say when I buy you need time. Na ne ayeye hu na kire beka ho asem say yenye careful ye manum ne nuanom a omo fi Ghana be join ne ye no omo bo hokrom baba na wa school kra chen ba obodura bro kire fufura. It takes weeks, months, sometimes even years. Now one we na mu hu omo a ye mu be the way we talk about them, the way we address them no yenye very very careful. Ye me pese me e canon na we will come to that. The Drubrebia, we could be a young lady be about or be person or corner home and general so free Ghana by and Yama be in person very specific. The Drubrebia Obi Kowari Kranoa and Kamaniji Letitia home pa, but me free Ghana by in chair. Enoch say software Ike over Peminia by in a entra. So then so a wadopa na Miss Fremo. No, we will address that at another forum. But Omaya and then Kasa and I'm pessimist. Now, young penning for so you was the name say when that experience bad, BB says, yeah, careful how we deal with the Yamu Bebro, be a make you move, be cra, Senka Letitia, but Penu for Yan Chiama, a train who say near Master and son or Chiama. And no be but we have to be very careful. Na case be and say deal with it, said the Ababa. Enoch and the rest, Yamin Shamo.
Pastor Politician, man.
Evelyn Chima meeting in phobia.
Okay, Thomas CP. Continuing, Enoch from Amsterdam.
Yeah, I just want to give a short advice regarding the levels and doing programs. I just want people to understand that sometimes it takes uncomfortable situations to know what God can do through you, or what you actually can do. Because if gold has to go through fire first before it becomes gold. So know that whenever you feel uncomfortable to do something, know that maybe there's something more to it. So I just want to give that advice.
Thank you very much, Enoch. No, Patrick, I can be short to what Pastor Ike Donko, Patrick, to me at the the Enoch boy and PowerPoint no sexual harassment no move to me the account because I think that's a very, very, very important topic that needs to be addressed because last time when we did that, there were comments said as people have got comments in church that if they want to be a prostitute because they're wearing certain things, people don't feel comfortable being touched a certain way, have been told. Like, I think that's a very, very important topic that we can't just brush under the table like that because a lot of youth are maybe secretly going through it and don't have the the courage or the platform to express it. So I think that is something that we should also, and even the boys were saying some aunties touch them a certain way they don't like. It's not only girls, say girls near Sid, even some boys don't like the way they're being touched by certain aunties. And I think that's very, very important that we really, really address that before it's too late, maybe.
More Evelyn, we will address that. It will be a senior medical can remember some. I had an experience. Evelyn, now you to be the haircut in your maybe intimate Kasa say uncle ye. In fact, uncle ye no crocodile no west. The following time and in share, man son as soon. Miss or me mason so home. Miss or my son, I'm say, was Sunday. Miss Uko 3 years, the Wako in crowd the west. So, coffee and no catch any parents different. It's not me who and I hear me complain, baby, say Mrs. Son Colasso. Man son as soon, Miss or me mason. So, it is sometimes, say the body kind, I can miss say, be happy now. My young, my soft phone. So, Adia. Minimum, how do I address it? Me just a motimasia. Now I'm saying this on behalf of our sophonina. Muntina yawaha. It be being koya na wa my young. So woman who number 200 more. Fre Pastor Embra, Fre Pastor Pediaco. So many Pastor Ike no waha. Ma come as much no. But so for one, I want to assure you, say Pastor Embra will come to me say, Kwabna why? Maybe I there is a reason. That is why we are here. We are a team. And do baby na yempese yasem beko baby. So for crown peso be hunasem. So do baby I so for crown would do anim no. Let me be very honest. My coffee be moi. Mammy be the bow catch them was a pastor. The only time ye fear her who say Nigia Bapa ya bra, me mamma me papa whom did you attempt. Any penny for I cannot him. Now, Colano, yet the onion and make to no food. Me can be too no free and so far, mamma come. What can me, mamma can what to me for now, mamma common so dear known to almost. It's your challenges where you fear more. But we are here to help. Madam I think I'm talking too much, but Madam
That's a short.
Yeah. Evelyn, Kasa.
No, just a short, because someone wrote me privately. What is if they don't want to talk to the pastors? Do we have maybe we can do we have committees for everything, but maybe that we can have some support for that if someone isn't comfortable talking to the pastors or the elders.
Evelyn,
Sorry.
maybe we can volunteer, and then if someone wants to, they can text any of us. Say if it's okay for the pastors, no. I can just leave my email address and Evan as well. Okay, leave my phone number. I don't even care.
Yeah, kannst du meins auch da reinschreiben. Pastor Pache, okay, but when
we will find a forum as soon as we possibly can. When we address in kakra, I think Sebeboa Emma near Bia a shisha who be no betimi addressing in the future. Bemo will be comfortable say. Obekona Solpeni and I said so for honum. I don't mind say Obi Ben Evelyn, no I can't as much, and that is fine. So long as it's an encore abonting. But the question is as seminar Evelyn Obekachre Evelyn, can Evelyn handle it? Say on any mammy and the papa some Evelyn will be
we would just gather it and then give it to the pastors.
Yeah.
And someone doesn't want to go directly to
you gathering it, and I didn't think I mean I'm a soft on him to win me, mamma. So dance and also what's idea. Generally, I understand. Because you're more young, but I think it's high time. Say you want to say you're so penny for you're suffering. No matter how we perceive them, they are there to help us. Yeah, these are positive again about. And no just say, oh, you be been ra and ya me kind, you know, just and there will be you be at the bar menka. So you have said the koye ni koye biana ye beka bom na yabo amana ye.
Okay. So said the pastor kind of would like everyone to, now we know that many things went wrong. We will ask everyone to contact their pastors and their leaders and their elders so that we can have a change. And also for those who already left the church, tell them that now there's a change and that then we are all open to do things differently and to correct things that went wrong. So feel free to contact those people and tell them, maybe Evelyn, you've left the church, but if there's anything, just feel free to tell me or to go to Pastor Imbra or to some of the elders to talk about it. Okay, so are there any questions and contributions? We still have got like 10 minutes left, or maybe from the youth, pastors, somebody.
I got a private text message concerning what Pastor just said about that we should address the pastors. I'm not going to say any name, but someone wrote me privately that their church pastor, for example, doesn't respond to text messages, and if you call, they don't pick up. So that's maybe also a reason why a lot of people don't feel comfortable going to pastors, because the pastors just are not available like that.
Evelyn, most of my na sofu bia o kwan ofa so ye na adwuma. So your youth leaders, your elders. At the same time, say the medical can say me, I want to use myself as an example. Kabi Beach, my address here. Feel free to go to Pastor Embra. Feel free to go to Suffolk Charles, and they will prompt me. I'm a man who say, me ya ama bibi ase and as bibi say the medical can. I don't have a church. So no sorry. Sorry. But there will be our sorry our church. But I think it's we are here to help more any yes, so your youth no be said no. So and we understand where you are coming from. But mama yam funny maybe share your adwene M1 Tina said there and no idea no yate but how we can move forward together.
Okay,
I think the Pastor Bediako was on the camera. Pastor Bediako, but now the PBA can and we're just turning on the camera.
Oh, me pese me kase mo ya de pa. De mo aka ni nyina so kama. Inti ye bedi ho dwuma na etu ho anamo. But who say young people babia wo bia no ya na not everything is comfortable. Not everything goes the way we want. Now no me free Ghana by Germany can say before you come to this country you have to do a test. So sometimes there are no rules or baby. So let's dialogue. Baby rules na den do no yen kan ho asem ne ehwe. Na because Evelyn say oil law when him say German for law no it's there. We baby or they cannot compromise. So my idea pass some of this topic here na ye kan ho asem. Na pastor Ike kan ye no we will make sure say the all kind will happen. Or say we will find time, address the issues, and we can meet again. Na yaka ho asem. Wa pastor Ike anye kura me ha na dwene sa amano aye. Ena Evelyn de o kan say obi o ho anom pese obekasa a kire ne pastor no. Yes, ubetimi eden ya wo obi a utimi confide in the person. So be Evelyn meti was say Evelyn person obeka kire me say obeka bibia kire me director maybe obetimi akọ through obi. So me person can say kire pastor mama and maybe the person can express it better than Evelyn. Inti there has been times I obi person can say kire pastor Ike a waka kire me. Na many pastor Ike kasa. There has been time I will be a person can say kire pastor me a waka kire pastor Ike na pastor Ike ni me kasa. There has been times let's feel free, find someone, confide in the person. Na no boko. Na oh Evelyn, it more lawyers, more privilege, Sape na so for so Evelyn, when me be can say so me kwan say me kan kire obi a me ntimi enkan kire. And say bi obi ne me kon say ne ba be kan say ma kire me na. Minim say ne be yen samoni say me enkan kire no. Na me dia share me no, but I can't tell you because I'm a pastor. Be have a confide in me. I can't tell you. Sana etia. Ubetimi a confide in us of ubia na nyame hira mo pa mo ya de.
Thank you. Just to the approach of the pastors, because people wrote me privately that some pastors don't don't keep things a secret. So you tell a pastor something and suddenly you hear your story in a preaching or somewhere else. So someone just wrote me privately to just bring the attention to that they would like the pastors to keep things private. If I discuss it with Pastor Bediako, that's only between me and Pastor Bediako.
It's true. So for BS, Evelyn, I admit that. It's true. The being where I know Felice or can't no one it's a very good illustration, a very good lesson. Obi so bit me a film. But I know Felice one molding, it doesn't matter. But so it's okay. As often you bit me, yes, why?
Thank you.
Evelyn, Memphis wearing pastor, dear, some of my choir.
Okay, yeah, short. Thank you for just short.
A true baby, so I will who send a assembly BB Akoshia. I quite remember years back, last time Enoch, a very, very, very a young boy. Now me a Hanover church pastor. I preach on stewardship. I made a statement. Say, you move when we lived in Ghana, no, now you're very honest with our ties. But you be draw a country, no, near my binti, near ye. No, when say the previous evening, no, not Enoch Papa, I preach on that because now is stewardship, one and is stewardship leader. I wasn't there, and somebody confessed to him. Said, yeah, oh, Panini, Abaka, the Yamena Faust, Akasachame. Now, saying a net here. And then I preach on Sabbath and an illustration, and I'm an example, no echo inside there. And he went and attacked Enoch Papa, said, they were catching no Friday evening, no, Abaka, me they be preaching. But because Sabbath morning, Kramini Enoch Papa Ankasa. So drop sometimes here and Yame home so yeah, Juma. That's a can be a you who seem to a jitum, natural who free. So far, some catch so for no, they could preach in a walk. But the fun baby, I na Pepi, no Yame, a year, Jumana, Yame fa, Bibi so Akasachre, and Tia young is a handsome, Madame Asapa.
That's it. Okay, I think we've got so one or two last points. I think Sir Ellen Ajimana on Sanowastro. Ellen, Shella?
Yeah. Actually, to the pastor General Kayano say okay, actually me could so my team that well, but now more can be say baby now we just sorry, be move frustrated him. And besides, make us a fair baby no, and paying for no so. And Sanyo maybe because you for do or share and penny for no, and besides, you're showing penny for the brainer. Yeah, dear Bob Brana name. So, we be honest say penny in the walls are ye elder no, we are the name ya. A bama you for no, any do was sorry you. Because that ya we cry and fatter then. I saw cry, I mean, jam coping baby. For me, I found baby not my bemu ye seriously. Some people know, dear. For my baby, because Obu one of my and some fatasa was so original, why ya had your pa, and you say was so original property a preachy but now o preachy crowd as you pay crowd, your one who crying but so good property and preachy. Now coupon better than some now kind of crab. What fast some of their board bra. So if I'm make us and penny for no so no or make it just people why they will change. Yeah.
Thank you
so much. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to say one last point, and then we're going to invite also, someone wrote me in the chat. We are all looking up to the elders and pastors in our church. Amen. Just a short thing, and then we're going to maybe invite the other pastors, Pastor Dan, Pastor Embra, Pastor Kofieji, to also speak on it. To the point that Sheila just said, I think I wish that we would be more understanding. Of course, something that I often hear is when something goes on is that, oh, if you were strong in faith, you wouldn't have left the church. I think it's very important to understand that everyone is standing somewhere different in their faith, and we just can't go around saying harsh words and everything. So let's just try and be more understanding to how we say things. I think that's very, very important. Then I'm gonna give it over to Pastor Imbra if you want to say something. Yeah, sorry, Enoch.
Ansana Pastor, because shortly I just wanted to add Obinso Atromi. And the person said that in the churches, and also in the mono, pastors and elders know which people have left the church or not active in church, and they would like them to really try to talk to them again, because the person said in their church, it seems like the pastor knows, but does not want to talk to the person, or is kind of avoiding the person. That is what it seems like. I'm not saying that is happening, but the person thinks that it seems like the pastor is not talking to the person and is kind of avoiding the problem of the person leaving the church. This is just the obiaka. It doesn't mean that it is going on. Okay. I think that pastors, as we're going to call the pastors now, so we could start off with Pastor Imbra. We don't have that much time, so maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Pastor Imbra, then maybe Pastor Dan, Pastor Kufia J is there as well, and then Pastor Kingsley also.
Pastor Imbra or Pastor Kingsley or Pastor Dan wants to add something. Or Pastor Kufia J is, I think, also on there. Okay, Pastor Dan just wrote me that he's okay. He doesn't want to add anything. Pastor Imbra or Pastor Kufia J. Okay, so Pastor Imbra unmuted himself. Yes, Pastor Imbra. Pastor Imbra?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was actually engaged elsewhere, so I've been taken by surprise. I just realized, that I've been asked to unmute. Precisely, what have I got to do?
Okay. So we thought maybe you had additional points to the discussion that we just had. Maybe you wanted to add something.
Oh yes, I think so far everything has been said by Pastor Bediako and Pastor Ike Donko.
Mm-hmm.
And as already shared, whatever problems we face that together. We are in this together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not you and us, no. We are in this together. It's a problem, and we've got to solve this together. No one person can resolve this for us, but we together as people of God, if we hold our hands and take the matter to God, and in all humility, do well to understand one another, you can be sure that we'll make great progress. And this is the best way to go. We are one. It's not you and us. If we have failed, we have failed together. And if we have succeeded, we have succeeded together. If we will stand out, we will stand out together. And if we torpedo, we will do so together too. So may God help us. May God help us. It shall be well. For that one, I can assure you. I say it shall be well because, you see, this church does not belong to any of us. It belongs to Christ Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever the enemy does, there is no way that the gates of hell will prevail against the church of God, because Christ is in control of his church.
Mm-hmm.
But we in here, we all need to be humble so that we can listen to one another.
Mm-hmm.
We have to listen. That is the point. And so if we have hurt or wounded or brought any untold whatever upon anybody, it wasn't intentionally done or purposefully done. So we, as mentioned by one of my colleagues, my fellow ministers, forgive us and let's move on. And there's always two sides to the coin. That one is not even, it's important that, yes, we do that. And so maybe we have to take these things one by one some other time. Have a forum to maybe address this. But then we don't even have to wait until then. If there is something you don't feel comfortable with sharing with me, you can speak to Pastor Ike Donko, or to Pastor Chasa Serbediako, or to Pastor Danatausu, or to Pastor Kingsley.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've done that, yes, attention will be drawn. And for us as pastors and as ministers, we also understand that whenever anything of this nature happens, it's for us to humble our hearts and then listen. We all need to have listening ears.
Yeah.
And then we are in this together, to be honest with you. We are in it together. You are our own children and we love you. God knows that we do. And for the church, not like you mentioned, what will be the future of the church? It rests in the hands of God. He knows it. We don't. We are his children. And if we see that, we will rely entirely on him. Our mistakes are solely ours. And we can, correct that if we together in humility will turn ourselves over to God and to one another.
Amen.
I assure you, it shall be well, Evelyn. It shall be well, Enoch. It shall be well. So let's keep on singing, it shall be well, and it shall be well. God bless you.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Amen. So the last thing is, someone wrote, when we talk about changes, we all have to change. So it's us and the adults too. And that we should keep on updating ourselves how things are going and not just make it all talk, but actually keep on updating ourselves about the progress. Yes, that's everything, Enoch.
Okay, then as we've said, thank you all for participating. Thank you to the elders, to the pastors, to the youth as well. This will not be the last meeting, said here Pastor Donko Kaino. The pastors will talk about it, the youth leaders will talk about it, and then we'll meet again in some time. So Yamin Shamunyana, thank you. I think we're going to call Sister Rahel to close off this seminar.
So we would just, I think someone said we should skip the song and just let the person pray. So
okay.
Yeah.
Wer soll beten?
The person on the program.
Also, ja, tut mir leid. Okay, habt ihr echt toll gemacht. Maya, der Plan, Mishramu. Ihr Beffe, ihr oh Gott. Tut mir leid, Leute.
Oh, good.